Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. We have Mark the Goblin King squaring off against Matt Orfanello, a very accomplished wizard in his own right, typically known for ruining dreams with a Eureka Tell build that he has largely refined to be a list that I've seen other people copying. He's actually very, very early on that deck, and I've enjoyed working on it with him, particularly getting the 4 Veil of Summer into the main. One of the other considerations was for Leyline of the Void, which I believe he's actually not currently using, but that's not going to matter as he is on a completely different deck right now, still blue-green mostly, but it is Aluren, Force of Will on this turn 1 Aether Vial, pitching Force. Trying to keep things in control. Now he's got a Dryad Arbor, potential answer to Goblin Lackey. Not exactly the best answer. You are going down a land in a matchup where goblins can be very aggressive in going after your mana base. This Rishadan Port, tap down the Dryad Arbor. Matt's able to land a snow-covered island and ponder. And ponder he does is it's not an easy decision for him. Not exactly what you want to see from the other side of the table. Or maybe it is. Maybe you're hoping it's a difficult decision and they made it wrong. Generally, you do want to see them shuffling, though. Crater Maker stands by as Euro enters the battlefield briefly, enabling another land drop, drawing a card, and gaining 3 life. With the newfound popularity of Euro, I'm a little surprised Explore isn't any more popular. I mean, Euro very, very close to that in most of the games. He doesn't always escape. Munitions Expert taking out Dryad Arbor. And Rishadan Port going after. So Matt had 4 mana at the start of the turn if everything went okay. Instead, he's down to just 2 mana here, facing down a 3 damage clock. He is going to need some more mana sources here. And Icefang Coatl actually being flashed in response to that Rishadan Port trigger. Activation. Brainstorm now in the main phase. And a tropical island into a ponder. Not the most exciting ponder there. It does get the shuffle. Pondering right after a brainstorm like that doesn't feel the best as you're looking at 2 of those cards that you were happy to get rid of. But he'll take the shuffle and continue trying to get more mana. Aluren's going to need 4 to resolve that Aluren. Icefang Coatl gets taken out by Gempalm Incinerator. Ooh, and now a Wasteland. Goblins doing goblin things here. Very destructive tendencies toward the mana base, and again, back down to just 2 mana. Another ponder. And this one an immediate shuffle. That's got to feel a little bit better for the Goblin King, knowing that it wasn't exactly hot sauce on the top of the deck. And now a Gilded Goose. Potentially sacrifice that food for some mana. No, Gempalm Incinerator clears the Gilded Goose. And the pressure continues. Now that food can be sacrificed for 3 life, but without a Gilded Goose or an Oko, that is not super exciting. Really want to be turning that into an elk or into some mana. Fetching here. Oh, and this could signal an Oko. Sacrificing that fetch land main phase like that, grabbing a basic. And it is. And he is ticking up. Oh, okay, so he tried to make a elk out of that food, and Crater Maker takes him down, and now Muxus. He's already at 6 mana. That is crazy. Muckus finding all sorts of goblins. We've got 2 matrons, is it? Wow, this has got to result in some death on the other side of the table. 2 matron triggers. I mean, your choice of the 2 best goblins in the deck. Holy cow. He feels like he wants more things that give goblins haste. You know, goblin chieftains, goblin war chief, anything like that. That can give a big advantage to the just the mass, the heft, the weight of that Muckus. I mean, it's a lot to leave behind for an attack step. I mean, getting that guy in there when he shows up would likely just result in immediate death. And we'll see if the Goblin decks kind of move more in that direction. A Green Sun Zenith, X equals 2. Yeah, just grabbing an Ice Fang Coatl. And this does not feel like this game's going to go on for much longer. Drawing off the Ice Fang. And it looks like exchanging... Was that just exchanging the food for a Oko? I am not exactly sure what I witnessed there. Let me know if you have a clearer read on that. It looks like, I mean, Oko's in the graveyard. Let me see what his ultimate is here. That actually adds up correctly. Ringleader. Revealing some cards here. Lackey. Skirk Prospector and Mog. War Marshal. Yeah, I am not actually sure what we witnessed there with that Oko, because it's power 3 or less, but the Muckus is 4 power, right? Yeah, he's a 4/4. I'm not sure. Let me know. Let me know. I'm curious, but I think we're going to keep moving forward here. We do these in one take, so we've got a lot of videos to make for you guys. We're doing 3 to 4 matches every Wednesday and Friday night now. Though the vault is mostly empty. We don't have a whole lot left from before the apocalypse. It'll be webcam magic for the foreseeable future. A Euro hopping into the battlefield briefly, gaining some life, drawing a card, and scooping it up. So that is it for game number 1, as the Goblin King just goes too wide. And Matt is unable to find an Aluren for any type of combo. So for those unfamiliar, I guess we'll cover that just in case it doesn't come up in game 2 or if there's a game 3. Aluren is a combo that's been around in Legacy pretty much since the beginning of the format. There's been a number of iterations of the deck over the years, and this current build is mostly looking to, I believe Matt's build is kind of trying to set up a 3-card combo of sorts. So Historically, it revolved around Imperial Recruiter. Imperial Recruiter would go get another Imperial Recruiter, which could go get another Imperial Recruiter, which could then get a Dreamstalker. When Dreamstalker enters the battlefield, you return a permanent you control. You can return a Imperial Recruiter. You can go get Cavern Harpy, and then Cavern Harpy can then return the Dreamstalker, which will return Imperial Recruiter, which can then go get your kill card, which at the time, it's varied over the years. The deck really began to be popular with the advent of Parasitic Strix in, I believe, Conflux. And that card would just enter the battlefield. Your opponent would lose 2 life, you'd gain 2 life, and then you could use the Cavern Harpy to flicker both of them in and out from the battlefield to your hand until eventual death. Now, this is really about the Cavern Harpy with either a Icefang Coatl or a Euro to draw through the entire deck. And Cauldron Familiar, I believe, is what he's on. So Cauldron Familiar is whenever a creature enters the battlefield, your opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So that is kind of the 3-card combo now that you don't have the Recruiter. And we'll see what ends up being better. Previously, it was all about Aluren. You got the Aluren, then you played your Recruiter. And that deck had a lot of tricky things it could do. We've got a turn 1 Goblin Lackey here. 2 fetch lands. Neither of them can grab a Dryad Arbor. I'm pretty sure that's a Lackey. It's either that or the dreaded Skirk Prospector opening. Two mana can potentially get a Icefang Coatl in the way of this. However, Mark has those 2 untapped lands. This may feel like an act of foolish optimism to even attempt to block this Lackey. Does he have it? Of course he has it. Munitions Expert, ruining those plans that would have really, really stunted the growth on this otherwise very good Goblin start. Well, he's thinking for a second, so at least it wasn't a Muckus. That game could have just been over on the spot. Alright, so Goblin Warchief, going to make all the Goblins cost 1 less and have haste. In Plague Engineer, Matt firing back in a huge way. The 3-mana creature, an upgrade over Engineered Plague. And now this looking like an Onslaught block era Goblins deck. We've got a couple of 2 toughness Goblins, Goblin Piledriver and Warchief, and now Oko. And Matt looking like he's going to have a lot more game this time around. Aether Vial, not the best against Oko decks. Usually they're going to be happy to turn it into an Elk at some point once they've really taken control. Matt brainstorming. I think Vial is just simply not the same card it was prior to Oko. The fact that control decks can eventually decide to just go ahead and convert it into an Elk, which is not difficult to deal with. Food being turned into an Elk. And this board getting just worse and worse for Mark, though it all largely hinges on this Plague Engineer. Leovold going to at least create some value. And it'll also keep Matt's mana base from being harassed from Mark's Rishadan Port. That is a very bad trade to tap down their mana and let them draw a card. Even the greediest of goblins not going to be down for that. And 5 mana? Oh, is this a Muckus? Wow, just bombing him in with the Plague Engineer on board, just gonna find a munitions expert, and he does. He's got a goblin matron and a munitions expert. Those triggers go on the stack, and then the state-based effect will resolve. Munitions expert targets the Plague Engineer, and he is down. Plague Engineer is down. Now, interesting, and that there's a a Goblin Crater Maker, so could have taken out the Leovold. We'll see how this ends up playing out. Let me know how you would have played those triggers. He grabs a Goblin Ringleader and is able to turn everything sideways here. The other option that jumps to mind would have been to take out Leovold with the Munitions Expert and then Crater Maker the Plague Engineer. Ponder. Boy, I just want to see Muckus with Caracas just bounced and replayed. I think that would be hilarious. Just generating insane value. I mean, Ringleader's already all about that value. And another Oko. So Oko cleared previously with that Goblin Invasion and now back. Muckus downgraded to an Elk. Is that right? Looks like there's 5 loyalty on Oko. I wonder if that loyalty is correct. Let me know if you have a different interpretation of that board state. Another Muckus? No, that's the Ringleader. All right. Starts flipping cards. These ones only go to hand. However, Aether Vial is going to do some help. It looks like a Munitions Expert taking down an Elk. Pile Driver is going to be able to clear the Oko, the Pro Blue, getting past the 3/3. And now a Ponder from Matt. Fetching out. He's got 4 mana. Are we going to see Aluren? We do. Where does he go from here? Because this does not want to be thrown out idly against Goblins. That's going to give all of the Goblins with mana cost 3 or less flash and cost 0 mana. Icefang Coatl is going to draw a card. Collector Oof. Plague Engineer. Cavern Harpy is now going to win the game. There's no interaction. And this is going to do it. The Icefang Coatl going to allow for paying 1 life to draw a card. Just doing the loop here. 11, 10, 9, 8. If he can find a Euro. Another Icefang. 4. This is going to feel awful for Aluren players everywhere if Matt actually doesn't get there. And there we go. Now Euro bails him out. Every time the loop happens, he's gaining life now. So basically play Euro, put the 3 life gain on the stack, go ahead and return him to your hand, and then the trigger resolves. So each iteration, Matt starts gaining life there instead of dwindling on life. And not too much road left. Only 3 life to go. In a really back and forth game. There was some wild stuff there. Matt, the owner of Next Level Gutters, actually does my gutters over here in Bellingham, Mass. I'm not sure what his primary area of service is, but you can find him online. Smart to be wearing that shirt. People don't need to be up on their ladders cleaning their gutters. You do not want to be going to a hospital nowadays unless you absolutely need to. No sense in messing around with that. You can have Matt take care of it for you. Always love people starting businesses and helping out in the community. It's a beautiful thing. And wish him all sorts of success with that. It's been fun to watch him grow that business, building his website and all of that. The Goblin King leading out with a Goblin Lackey, as expected. Turn 1, Dryad Arbor from Matt, so no easy answer to this. This is going to connect. All he can do is hold his breath and see. Well, it's a Matron. And this is a question. I feel like Gempalm Incinerator is a reasonable card to get here. What would you get? Looks like Pashalik Mons. Pashalik Mons can grind the game out. Get some extra damage in there. I wonder if this means that he has Sling Gang in hand. Plan might be to use the Goblin Lackey to get in the Sling Gang and then have Pashalik Mons for a pretty fast clock. You know, the issue there being that anything Matt does will disrupt it. He's got the blocker in the form of a Misty Rainforest already set up. So he's going to turn sideways. Let's see if it ends up being a Dryad Arbor or an Ice Fang. It's a Bayou. So he likely has the Ice Fang ready to go. And yet again, he's got the Munitions Expert. And this is going to push through, well, just the Pashalik Mons. All right. This is an excellent... Oh, no, that's a Muxus. A Muckus. I don't even know how to say it. I'm totally discombobulated. I thought that was a Pashalik Mons. No, he is just going big with a ton of goblins here. I was thinking Pashalik Mons. That way, if he lands a Plague Engineer, the goblins dying would actually kill the engineer. Sling Gang Lieutenant being found. Matt has to answer. He really, really needs like a turn 3 Plague Engineer. Oh, and the humanity, he has it. It's just carnage. But he's got the Goblin Crater Maker to be able to dig back into the game. This is not the end of the world for Mark at all. It was kind of a necessary condition to have a chance, but it is really still favoring Mark here. It's the Goblin King having all the answers. I suppose why grab Pashalik Mons when you can just hit him off of Muckus anyways, right? I mean, he does have plenty of things that can cause all sorts of havoc, and this is old school goblins here. This is like a Siege Gang plus Pile Driver, except it's less mana. The Sling Gang Lieutenant bringing 3 goblins in here, and this is just a ton of damage coming in. I think that's actually lethal, right, guys? Yeah, just 11 just from the Pile Driver. And that is going to do it. Matt draws a card and concedes as Muckus brings the ruckus. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.